Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. My name is Kelsi. I'm a part of the support team here at Tripleseat. With me, I have Sara Madden. She is our customer success specialist. Today, we will be going over making the most of Tripleseat. We'll talk about some tips and tricks. It will be a 45-minute training session. We broke it out into 4 different categories for you guys. So the first section, I'll go over some event tips and tricks. We'll talk about how to view your calendar, how to export your calendar, and how to stay proactive on those upcoming events. Then we'll move right into tasks and discussions, how to save time on those. Then Sara will take you through some higher level customization in your settings. And then she'll talk about creating a lead form on how to gain more leads. She'll use a holiday lead form as an example. Before I get started, I do want to mention that you guys can chat in your questions through the question and answer tab throughout. We have a few support team members monitoring that channel. So be sure if you guys have a question to ask on the webinar. So let's get started. Moving over into Tripleseat, I will start right on my calendar view. So here is where all of my events live. I can view the previous month, the next month, a specific month, or a specific year. I can also filter out my calendar. So this filter button on the right-hand side is where I can choose what events I want to see. So if I want to filter down by status, I can do that. Maybe I want to view a specific location on my account or a specific owner. So maybe I only want to see events that I own. I also have this color by option, which I want to point out. So right now it's colored by status, but at any time you can move the color to room or location, and you can see what events are in which room. We'll choose this legend in the top right corner, and you can see what room each of my event is in. Next, I want to show you the different views you can view your calendar at. So right now we're on the month view. You can also view your calendar by week. So see all of your events happening that week. Maybe you just want to see today's events by day. And we also have the timeline view, which is really cool. So this view will show you the room names on the left-hand side and the times at the top. So it will easily be able to see what rooms are available to you at what time. I can always go in and create an event right from any view. Moving back over to my month view. So I want to show you guys a nice feature on the calendar, which is called the notes. So at any time you can add a note to the calendar. Notes are really great for communicating something. So if you guys are super busy a weekend, maybe it's graduation or a concert in town, something like that, you can add a note to the calendar to communicate that with your team. Or you can use a note to block off space. So maybe you have a meeting, or maybe a room is being cleaned and you just don't want to book in that room at a certain time. That's a good way to add a note. So to add a note, you'll find the day and click Add Note. Here's where we want to add a title. We'll use an example of a weekly meeting. I can drop in a note description if I'd like. And here are 2 great features. So I can prevent bookings for the duration of this note if I need to block off the space. I can also repeat this note. So maybe we're going to have weekly meetings for the rest of the month. In this middle section here, I can choose a time. So let's say we are blocking off space for 1 hour in the afternoon in the bar and lounge. So when I'm ready, I'll click Add New Note. And you'll see that note added to the calendar. Next, I'm going to show you how to export this calendar. So right from the calendar page, we'll scroll to the bottom and you can click Export. So this is a way to export your Tripleseat calendar to your Outlook, your Apple iCal, Google Calendar, or your mobile phones. What's nice is that you can use this preloaded URL to add to your calendar if you just want all of your events. But I'm going to show you how to customize those exported events. So there are a few options here. At the top, you'll see this filters button. So maybe I want all of my events to live in Tripleseat, but maybe I just want to see definite and tentative events on my Google Calendar. So in that case, I'm going to go ahead and select tentative and definite. I can also choose a specific location or room I want exported, an owner, or even those calendar notes that we just added. So that weekly meeting, I want to be sure to export it to my Google Calendar as an example. Once I filtered that down, I also have the option of adding document links. So here is a really great option if you want to include PDFs to that exported calendar. So let's say I want to be sure to include the BEO tagged onto those exported events. Once I've filtered out this page and I've added my documents, I'll navigate down to this custom export builder and use this URL to copy and paste to my calendar to export it. Two things I want to point out. So you can use this URL and send it out to anyone on your team. So for example, if I have a chef on my team and they don't have a Tripleseat account, they don't go on the computer, they don't go on Tripleseat login, I can give them this link and they can use it to add Tripleseat events to their Google Calendar, their phone, Outlook, whatever they use. So they don't necessarily have to log into Tripleseat or have a Tripleseat account. Also, when I do add this to my Google Calendar or Outlook, I don't need to add it a second time. So it will automatically refresh for me and add events that I add to Tripleseat. Before we move on to this events tab, I do want to head back into the calendar to just show you a quick pro tip. So here's where I can see a quick preview of the events that I have going on this month. So you'll notice right now I have the event name. Of course, when I click on it, I can pull additional details and view where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, the contact, guest count, and owner. Just a quick tip for you guys, you can navigate to my profile, which is located on the bottom left of your screen, or simply click on your name at the top. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see an option that says calendar display options. So this is where I can kind of customize what gets previewed to me when I'm on that calendar page. So for example, maybe I want to include the room name in that preview too. So I can go ahead and select event name and room name for my month view and timeline view. Navigating back to the calendar page, you'll see I just customized it for myself and now I can see the event name and room name. Just something to keep in mind, this won't affect anyone else in your group, just your own user role. Now we're going to head over into this events tab here. So I just want to mention this page because it's just a different way you can view your upcoming events. So we'll use an example to choose events by date range. Maybe we want to take a look at the upcoming events that we have going on the next 2 weeks. This is great where you can come to and you can see what events need an extra touch, who needs a communication, how we can get that event rolling. So you'll see this tentative event that's upcoming. Maybe I need to check it out to see if my contact Lauren has signed the contract or added a deposit. How can I move this event to definite and make sure it's going to happen? So same idea with prospect. I have a few upcoming prospect events. Maybe I want to check them out to see if that contact needs an extra touch to make sure that documents are created and my contract has been shared. While we're here, I do want to point out the batch download document feature, which is a great feature that we have on our events page. So if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, we have an option that says download documents. So this is a great feature where you can download all your documents at once instead of going into each individual event and printing out that PDF. So for example, if we have that weekly meeting and we want to print out all of our upcoming BEOs, I can come to the event page, filter it down, and click download documents to choose all those BEOs in those 11 events. Once I click download documents, a zip file will be emailed over to me. Just as a quick tip that I do want to point out, you can always come into your reporting section and click My Exported Reports. And here is where you can find your previously downloaded documents. So at any time, if I am in Tripleseat, I can come here and download documents right from my Tripleseat page instead of finding it on my email. Switching gears here, now we're going to talk about tasks and discussions. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is a task? So a task is really an important reminder or to-do, something that needs to be completed. They're really intended to keep you and your team organized and on top of things. Tasks can live on the event level, the lead level, the contact level, or account level. So it's different places on your site. There are two ways to add a task. So the first way is to add a manual task. So you'll want to come to the Task tab and click Add a Task. Let's use an example of confirm menu. So here's a task that I will create manually for my team member, Allie. So Allie is the owner of the event, so I'll make sure that she needs to complete this task. But at any time, you can add or adjust the assignees or even add a task for the guest. I'll want to choose a due date, and I can even choose a task type, which is really important for reporting purposes. Sarah will dive into this a little bit later on and show you how to adjust your types. And I can even prioritize it if I want. So once I click Save, I have created a task for Allie to complete tomorrow to follow up with the guest and confirm the menu. The second way to add a task is what we call automatic tasks. So automatic tasks can be created in the system automatically based on a trigger action. To create an automatic task, you'll go right into your settings page and click automatic tasks. So here is where my current automatic tasks live. I have 3. Rule of thumb, generally, I always recommend maybe around 5. You don't want too many automatic tasks because you don't want to clog up your site. You don't want anything to get missed. So I always recommend using the top 5 tasks that you want your team to complete. So let's go ahead and create a new automatic task. The example I'll use is to send a thank you note after the event has taken place. So we want to be sure that we have a name of the task. Now, trigger action. So this is important. This is going to be when the task is created. So we'll go ahead and choose event status is definite. And then we get to pick a due date. So when is this task due? I want to be sure I send a thank you note 1 day after the event date. Task type, again, really important for reporting purposes. And then a task body. Over to the right here, I can choose the locations that I want to have access to this task. And then I can choose either a manual task assignee or smart task assignee. So a manual task assignee is really if one person is always in charge of this task. So for example, if Ryan is always going to be the one to complete this task, I will add his name here. But in this case, I'm going to use a smart task assignment, so the owner. So that just means that this task will be dedicated and due to the owner of the event, whether that's Allie or Adam or whoever it may be. So let's go ahead and save this automatic task. Next, I'll be talking about discussion email templates. So now we've created a task that reminds us to send a thank you note, but next I want to actually create that template for the thank you note. We'll go right into our settings page and click discussion email templates. So here are my different sections of my templates. There are different categories. So the first section here is the event template, which will only be available to me in the event stage. I have my booking template, same idea, it will be only available in the booking stage. Document templates will be available when I'm sharing a document layout. Lead template will be available only in the lead stage before that lead gets converted. And payment template. So this will be available when I'm requesting payment. So let's go ahead and add a thank you note template. We'll click add new template, drop in a name, select the location, and here is where I want to add the body of the email. So there's 3 items that I want to cover while I'm here. The first one is what we call merge fields. So at any time within any email template, you can add a merge field to personalize your email. So for example, maybe I want this to pull in the contact's first name. So I'll go ahead and right click and find that merge field for the contact's first name. The second piece I want to cover is hyperlinking. So this is a great way where you can hyperlink items in your email template. So how to do that is you can find the text that you want to hyperlink, highlight it, find your toolbar, and click Insert Edit Link. So say, for example, we have a post-event survey that I'd love my client to fill out following the event. We want to make sure that we have a URL, and we can hyperlink that. The last feature that I want to mention is adding pictures. So anytime you can add pictures of your venue, of your food, of your menus, anything like that to your file library, and you can drop it in on your email templates. So again, we'll find that section on the toolbar where it says Insert Edit Image File, and we can drop in a picture. You can come in here and resize it if you'd like. And once I've customized this email template, I can hit save. So now we've created an automatic task and a discussion email template, and I'll show you what that looks like on an event. So we'll go ahead and edit the event. We'll move it over to definite because remember that was when our trigger action would happen. I'll run to the tasks page and we can find that task created. So let's say this event has taken place, all documents have been updated, all payments have been reconciled, and I'm ready to close out the event. I can come into my discussion and I can find that thank you note email ready to go and thank the guest for coming. Now I'll kick this over to Sarah, who will talk a little bit about settings, customizing her site, and lead forms.
Thanks, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm the Customer Success Specialist here at Tripleseat. Today, I'm going to be going over some high-level branding and customization within the back end of your Tripleseat site. Bear with me 1 second. We'll get the page loaded here. Sorry, guys. Bear with me 1 minute. Hi, guys. So sorry about this. Just bear with me 1 more minute. We're trying to get the screen loaded up. All right, I think we're there. Thank you all so much for your patience. So again, as I mentioned, I'm going to be going over some higher level customizations and branding in the back end of your settings on your Tripleseat site. So one thing to note with these, with access to your backend settings, any customer or location admin will have access to make these edits. However, if your user role permits, you will be able to make the adjustments as well. So we're going to first go into our left-hand navigation and scroll down to our settings page here. And first, we're going to click into our locations so we can go ahead and make a few edits there. Once we get to our locations page here, you're going to see a list of all the venues that you have access to, again, depending on your user role access here, and all the associated rooms next to it to the right. So first, I'm going to click into edit details for my Lakeview Grill. And here's going to be some site information for you. So here you're going to have information on the name and address. If you have any edits that are needed to be made to either of these fields, please feel free to reach out to our support team and they'll be more than happy to make the edits needed. As we scroll down, we're going to have some more branding options here. The first is going to be your logo. To update or change your logo, you can do so with either a PNG or a JPEG file. Your logo is going to run throughout your site. So whether it's on your event documents, such as like a contract, on the guest portal, or even your email signature. So definitely important to make sure if you guys update that, you can do so here. Kelsi previously talked about different filtering capabilities within our calendar. So this is a really great feature if you have managed multiple locations and like to view your calendar by a certain location color. You can do so by adjusting here. And then when you're on your calendar view, you can filter by the specific location. Kelsi previously showed you by the room or the status. So here I can see all the purple will be my Lakeview grill. As we move down below, here's where we're going to be able to adjust and customize our guest portal image and banner a little bit more. So the guest portal is a customer-facing view for your guest. It's going to give all the information on the event details to your event contact. So here, your site's going to be set up with a banner image already, but maybe you want to customize this and brand this a little bit more to your venue or your website. So just take a note here, there is a pixel size of 1280 by 200. That's just the preferred banner size for the best clarity of the photo. Down below here, you have a few additional customizations to include coloring branding throughout. So you can see here, my navigation color I have in gray, and then accent colors to be in this blue. Your marketing team may already provide you with certain hex colors. If not, you can go to our color wheel to select a color option. But also kind of a quick tip, if you don't know, there are a lot of free sites out there that you can do a color grab on. Just upload your image and select the appropriate color, and it will give you the hex color that you can type into this Tripleseat field here. So as you can see in our guest portal now, we have our branding running throughout with our logo, our banner image, and then our accent colors throughout. Moving on down at the bottom of our locations page here, this is where we're able to select our lead notification recipients. So this is going to be a list of all the users that have access to our Lakeview Grill restaurant, and I can add any user at any time to start receiving those web notification leads. In addition, let's say you have an email that is generalized and not assigned to a particular user in Tripleseat. So such as maybe it's an info at or a catering at or events at, and they just aren't signed up as a user within Tripleseat. You can go ahead and include their email address to also receive those email notification leads as well. Down below, this last option that we have on the page here is to remove lead recipients from discussions after the lead conversion. So if you decide to check this off, what this means is I have multiple recipients receiving lead notifications and will be on the lead discussions. After that lead gets converted to an event, these users will be dropped and only the owner or event managers on the event will remain on the discussions. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and update this here. Now I'm going to go into our site preferences to show more global settings changes as compared to our specific locations. So back to settings and then preferences. Again, as I mentioned, these are global changes to all locations under your group. So it really is important to confirm with the global customer admin before making adjustments, just as this would affect all locations under that group. So here we can adjust maybe the time zone, the currency symbol, even the start day to your calendar. So Kelsi previously showed you the calendar views. This is where you can come in and update that on a global level for everyone to see. So if we wanted to start our start time at 9 a.m. instead of 12 a.m., you can make those adjustments from the drop downs. Now, if you haven't already, I would suggest going in and including the holidays onto your Tripleseat calendar. All you need to do to add these is select from the country drop-down list. And then on your calendar views, those holidays will be highlighted in blue on the calendar. It's just kind of a more visual way for you to A, remember it, and B, maybe you want to block off from preventing any bookings happening. So Kelsi showed you how to do that by adding a note. Down below here, we previously talked about the notification recipients for those web leads. You also may be receiving leads via phone or walk-in. So by entering those, you're going in and entering them manually by the hot button at the top toolbar. If you'd like to also receive those notifications of a new manual lead, you can go ahead and check off send internal lead notifications, and those recipients checked off will also get that notification as well. Lastly, here we've been talking about branding your site, customer facing, but also a lot of this is on the back end as well. So you can go ahead and make adjustments in color scheme to your Tripleseat site, and it will run throughout. So again, location settings is only going to be specific to that particular location. Preferences is going to be global for all venues under a particular group. So just to keep that in mind. While we're here on the drop, I'm going to head down to the drop-down tab. This is where you're going to be able to customize all of the drop-down options throughout Tripleseat. So Kelsi was previously talking about those task types, being able to create your own. You're going to have all different options here. So event lost reasons, your event types, even referral sources. So this is going to be a customer-facing drop-down option that's shown within the Tripleseat lead form. So on your lead form, you're going to have a field that you can include that says, how did you hear about us? Now, these are options that you can include. You can organize them in a particular way. You can even include and allow explanation where it applies. So this field, when checked off, will just allow your guest to include a text box and can write in additional information. Now, both of these fields will be reportable, so you can include both. One thing to note, as I mentioned, you can organize if you have a lot of options. Some groups like to go alphabetically or by type. You can also delete these as well. So if it's no longer a drop-down option that applies to your venue, you can delete it. But as we mentioned, this is a global, all venues who share a group will have these drop-down options. So please be sure before deleting anything that you're checking with the group. When you do need to delete one, it will have you reassign those into another drop-down option so nothing's lost. Now that we have our referral source there, I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new lead source. I want to go ahead and create a new lead source for my 2021 holiday email blast. Our marketing team is going to be sending out an email, and I want to make sure that we have this new lead form to send to our guests so that they can start booking for our holiday season. So the first step that I want to do is add my lead source. Once I have that, I'm going to make sure I update my page here. Next, I'm going to go back into settings, and I'm going to go down into lead forms. So on this lead forms page here, this is where all of the lead forms that I have created will live. I can always view the live page or the setup codes. So if it's a lead form for your website, you can go ahead and get the setup codes to enter it there. So here you can see I have lead forms for my social media. You can have it for your website. Your lead forms are great because you're able to create them for all different things. So if you are a multi-venue that's using Tripleseat, you can create one lead form for all of your venues and have a drop-down option for your guests to select from, or you can create individual ones. Another great thing is if you have multiple sections throughout your website that you want to capture additional leads, such as maybe a catering lead form or one for private events, you can do so there. Again, those lead sources are a great way to capture where your leads are coming from when reporting. In this case, I am going to be creating a lead form specifically for my marketing email campaign for my holiday promo. So I'm going to create a new event lead form by clicking on this button. Now here's going to be a few fields that we're going to fill out to create this custom lead form. So we're going to give it a name. This is not going to be customer facing. This is just internal so that you know what lead forms you are building out. So make sure, again, name it specific. If you do a holiday promo each year, make sure you give it, include the year in there. I'm going to include all the locations that apply. Now, specific to the branding that we talked about on the location, you can pull in the location branding that you have set up previously within the guest portal. In this case, again, I'm making this a holiday theme. I've already pulled a specific logo and banner then I want to pull for this particular lead form. So in this case, I'm going to override the information here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose a new logo and banner. For my logo, again, we do suggest either a PNG or JPEG file. And then for my new banner, again, the preferred banner image size is going to be the 1280 by 200 pixels. Now, just as we did before for our location for the guest portal, I'm going to go ahead and also override the colors. I've gone in and already grabbed the hex colors on that free site just to pull those. So let's go ahead and get those plugged in. If you're not sure of the colors, again, we do have the color wheel that you can select from. Now this is going to pull the font color and also my accent colors. Different than from the guest portal, you're going to have an option to include a background. I'll just show you quickly here to show you, but I'm going to leave this one white just so it's not too much color showing on it. Here, we got our hex color for that. And then also lastly on the lead form page, you do have the option to include a backdrop color. So it's going to show up on the sides here. Again, however, what colors you'd like to do, you can leave it all white. That's totally fine. Now, as we scroll down, this is going to be the page setup. So these are the fields that live within your lead form. So here you're going to see the event header. Again, I'm going to make this a little bit more specific to my holiday lead form and just say your holiday 2021 event request. Again, you can even remove the year, however you would like to name this. Major event, you can adjust. I'm going to keep it this way because it could possibly be for a corporate or personal. But maybe here I want to get a little bit more specific where this is a holiday lead form. I don't need birthday party or business dinner. I can maybe suggest having this booked in a private dining or main dining room. For any additional information, this will be a text box for your guest to fill out. I'm going to go ahead and include a little bit more information to request from the guest and maybe ask if there's a budget for their event. Now, the referred by text, this is what we previously spoke about from the drop-downs, the referral source. So again, it's going to be a drop-down option for your guest to be able to select from. I'm going to leave that as is. Now, when the guest fills out the form, there's going to be a thank you page that gets displayed to the guest. You can leave this as is. Maybe you want to put your restaurant name or adjust the hours. I've gone ahead and just updated our message a little bit to include, thank you for your interest in the particular location. We'll get to you back as soon as possible. With these options here, I can go ahead and actually hyperlink a particular menu, just as Kelsi did in the email templates. I can include a hyperlink and maybe link them back to menu options or spaces available that you want to, a brochure that you have. In this case, I actually have a next field here is send interested parties to a particular web page once they've filled out the form. So I have my link here. I'm going to go ahead and include that here. So when they fill it out, they're going to get this message. And the back button will redirect them to my link here. Scrolling down below, you have a few form fields. So these are checkboxes that you can make certain fields required or not. Again, in this case, really, if you were doing more a lead form geared towards corporate, I may require that. It's not something that I'm going to stop my guests from filling out the form. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that required contact info, both a valid phone and email address, are entered. Also, I definitely want to know what event date they are thinking about. If it's not really important, the guest can leave it open. Definitely don't need to make that required. Where I did ask for both a phone number and email address, I may just ask for a contact preference. That will indicate for the guest to choose, do you prefer to be reached by phone or email? Now, this is the big key important aspect that we want to make sure when creating a custom lead form, you are tying it to the custom lead source that we created. So again, we created our 2021 holiday email blast. I want to make sure that we're tying the lead source created to this lead form. So anytime a user fills this out, they're going to they're going to have that, it's going to report on there. Moving on here, you will see the option to add a minimum guest count required. So here, if I want to go ahead, you can include a minimum. And also, if the guest types in a number that doesn't meet your minimum, it will come up with an error message. Same with start time and end time. It's going to default, but again, maybe your venue doesn't open at a particular time and you want to redirect them to a certain time frame. Lastly, down below here is that auto response email. Really, this is not only are they going to get that thank you page after filling out the form online, but they're also going to get an email as well. So this might be where you want to include a little bit more information in that subject line. So your holiday event request with whatever venue it was. And again, thanking them for filling it out, that you'll be back with them as soon as possible. This maybe I want to go ahead and include a few additional links back to my website for them to take a look at. So for my private dining space, I'm going to go ahead and insert the link. With this page here, I have the option to open link in a new tab. So that way it will bring them to a new tab in their web browser. Lastly, down below here, you have one more option. This field here is for reply to email address on the email sent to the interested party. So what this field means is if the guest replies to that auto thank you email, I can include an email address where I'd like that sent back to. If there's no email address filled out here, don't worry about it. The email will still go to someone, whoever was the site creator of your Tripleseat site, the email will go to them. But again, if you'd like it directed to a certain person, you can definitely do so here. Once we're done finishing all the fields, customizing, including our links, I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Now that we have our lead form, I can click into our live lead page here. And this is where I can go ahead and grab the link, and I can include that link on any of those email blasts that you send out. So I've actually gone ahead and filled out our lead form here as a guest would, so that you can see how it's all filled out, and then also how it would look once they complete the page. So when they submit it, it'll bring them to that thank you page that you customized. And if you did include a link, as we did, if you hit back, it's going to redirect your customer back to wherever you would like them to go. So if you have any questions or need any assistance setting up your a new custom lead form or any other questions that we may have gone over today, please feel free to reach out to our support team through the help and questions button. Our team is available via chat, or if you want to submit a support ticket. We do have a bunch of other additional resources such as Tripleseat University or other helpful videos that you can definitely research there. Before we leave, though, I do want to leave one more last tip. For those of you that haven't already done this, with so many of us working remote and on the go now, Tripleseat, I would definitely recommend adding the icon to any of your mobile devices, such as your iPhone or tablet. So here, I'm going to show you how you can get the steps on setting this up. So under our frequently asked questions page here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to search for mobile. And here we have the steps on how to add the app to your phone or icon or your tablet here. So again, definitely recommend doing that. I once again thank you all for joining me today. Please be sure to take the short survey at the end of this webinar, and don't forget to register for tomorrow's sessions. We have one on improving client experience and the other on marketing tools. All these webinars will be recorded and will be added to our YouTube page as well as in a blog post. So thank you again and have a good rest of your day.